I'm Dana Denha, and you're watching FYI. There are some aspects of maintaining our natural areas that need the assistance from dedicated volunteers. Learn what the Natural Area Preservation, or NAP, does to keep our city's ecosystem intact.
NAP is always working to keep nature blooming by removing invasives to let native plants and animals flourish.
It's good for the soul, and there's more and more studies showing that getting out in nature is good for our mental well-being as well as your physical well-being. We have over 1,000 acres of natural areas in the city of Ann Arbor, and a lot of them need a lot of help.
Main thing we do is go and take non-native invasive plants and remove them, either by cutting them off and so they can be treated later to kill them off, or just pulling them up by the roots.
When we have areas like we were working in earlier today that are overrun with non-native invasives, they kind of break down the cycle of nature. We don't have bugs that have evolved to eat those plants and the birds that eat those bugs and things like that, and they just kind of take over and leave no diversity.
NAP relies on volunteers during workdays like this at Oakwood's nature area.
Come November, when all of our native things have lost their leaves and kind of gone to sleep for the winter, the buckthorn is still going to be bright green with lots of leaves on it and tons of berries. So it's a prolific seed producer. It really outcompetes the natives, and we can cut it down and eliminate those seed sources from spreading in the future.
To volunteer to become an environmental steward, visit a2gov.org/NAP. Stay tuned, and we'll be back shortly with more news and information. There's something satisfying about growing your own food. You can taste the hard work and pride that goes into its creation. Growing Hope aims to bring this passion for food to the masses.
In 1999, the Growing Hope story began, and nearly 20 years later, the organization wants to nurture soil, seeds, and self.
The fact that they are teaching people about how to grow their own food, teaching kids, which is very important because you have to start when they're young, and just spreading the word from a point of view of the city and beyond the city about how important it is to support growing local food.
Really, it's a place for the Ypsilanti community to come and learn about how to grow their own vegetables, about nutritious food, and really just enjoy an amazing farm.
To enjoy the delectable bites the farm has to offer, Growing Hope invites chefs in the garden.
A lot of the menu kind of takes things you would see in the garden, just kind of in a very lightly manipulated form, because we want you guys to just kind of try it as is.
It was like an amazing combination of flavors.
They share a common love of good fresh food and understanding how important it is to all of our interactions.
Everything tastes better if you grow it in your own backyard.
For more on programs, opportunities, or tickets to the Chef in the Garden dinner series, visit growinghope.net. In today's technology-ridden world, it's easy to get distracted from your task at hand. But when you're driving, your concentration should be on the road and not on your device. Learn more about distracted driving in this month's City Roundup in 60.
Hi, I'm Sergeant Bill Clock, the Ann Arbor Police Special Services Section. I'm here to talk a little bit about distracted driving. Texting while driving does increase your stopping distance, so it's going to actually take you a whole lot longer to stop. Nationally, in 2016, there was 3,500 people killed in distracted driving collisions. And in 2016, here in Michigan alone, there's 43 fatalities and about 13,000 traffic crashes resulting from distracted driving incidents. Michigan Vehicle Code does prohibit sending a text message reading a text message or manually typing a text message. We do have a lot of students coming back to town here shortly, with about 17,000 students attending the Ann Arbor Public Schools and about 45,000 attending the University of Michigan. So there'll be lots more pedestrians. So please keep your eyes on the road, put the cell phone down, and be safe out there.
Destination Ann Arbor is on a mission to keep Ann Arbor a place you want to live, play, and visit. One thing which makes us distinctive is the abundance of local college and high school sports. But with the induction of the Ann Arbor Sports Commission, we are seeing even more in the realm of professional sporting events. Joining me is Mike Malach, Executive Director of the Ann Arbor Sports Commission. Well, first I would like to congratulate you on your new position.
Thank you.
So, Mike, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you kind of got into the field of sports and what you're currently doing right now?
I was like any kid growing up. I played sports in high school and college, and got in school and thought this would be a great career. I loved it so much. So I got my master's degree in sports management. I spent the last 26 years or so working in college athletics in various realms, from ticketing to facilities operations to business management. And I've been at Eastern Michigan the last 21 years. So.
And what do you do at Eastern?
I am the Senior Associate Athletic Director for Facilities and Operations. So I manage all the business side, the budgets, the payroll, accounts payable, all that type of stuff. And then in addition, I manage all the facilities and our operations, which involves all the game management, all the home events, all our rentals, anything involved with our facilities.
Okay. So what are maybe some of the difficult parts of having to deal with the college sports?
You know, it's a lot. Especially at Eastern Michigan, a lot of it is driven by budget. You know, we're on a tight budget like a lot of schools our size.
Yeah, I think I remember hearing that they were going to cut some sports.
Exactly. So we ended up cutting 4 sports last spring, which was the worst thing I've ever gone through professionally. But it's just something you have to do. You have limited resources. There's only so much that can be spread out, and you have a checkbook. I mean, when it says zero, it's zero. You don't have any more money available. So we deal with a small staff. We do a lot. The expectations are still high at Eastern Michigan. So it's just managing those people, managing those budgets, making sure that we put on a first-rate event. The student athletes have great experience, and we try to do everything we can to make sure that all gets done at the end of the day.
Well, and I feel like the last few years too, you know, basketball and football at EMU has gotten much more popular, and people are talking more about it.
Correct. We've had, you know, football started 2-0 this year. They've lost the last 2. We beat Purdue, which was a huge win for Eastern Michigan. We got a home game this weekend against Northern Illinois, getting back into conference play. So, you know, attendance should be good. A lot of exciting things going on. Our new athletic director has been wonderful. He's been a great breath of excitement for the program. And basketball is going to have a wonderful year. They've been picked top in the MAC conference and a lot of preseason polls already. So it's a bright future for them this year.
Yeah, that's amazing, because I think a lot of times when you're in this area, you always go straight to U of M. You don't really think of EMU, but it's just it's a nice thing to think about that EMU's right here, and they're doing so much in sports.
Yeah, it's a very family-friendly environment. It's affordable. It is Division I athletics. We're playing the Michigans of the world just like they are. It's really a nice place to go to an event. So.
Can you tell me what the Ann Arbor Sports Commission is?
So the Ann Arbor Sports Commission was set up in July of 2016. Basically, it's set up to improve the quality of life through sports in Washtenaw County. So the goal will be to bring events to Washtenaw County, be it youth events, professional sports, anything that has that sporting vibe to it, is to bring those events to Washtenaw County.
So what, I know you haven't really been the executive director of the Sports Commission yet, but what kind of sports have they brought so far since 2016?
So just in my little research and interview for the job and everything, they've been involved with the LPGA event, the Volvic Championship over at Travis Point. They've done several figure skating events over at the Cube. Last winter they ran the Chocolate Milk Futsal Tournament. It was 125 teams from 4 different states and 2 different countries actually came here to play futsal. They've been involved. I've dealt with them actually a lot on the Eastern Michigan side because they bring events to our facility. We've done gymnastics events for them. We've done lacrosse events. We've been part of the AAU National Track Championships that's held at Ray Nearson. So those are all the events that the Sports Commission Destination Ann Arbor are involved in.
So when you actually start, you said you're starting in a couple weeks.
Yep.
What do you hope to bring to the job?
At this point, you know, it's going to be a lot of learning from my end.
Sure.
I'm leaving a whole world that I'm very, very familiar with to another world, even though that sports is the connecting piece. I really expect us to take some time and evaluate Washtenaw County, look at what facilities are available, look at what we have currently to bring stuff to, but in the same time plan for something even bigger. When you look at trying to bring a 600-team youth soccer tournament to Ann Arbor, that's very hard to do. There is not a complex that can manage that many teams. And that's what we want to look at. Is there a way to get a complex built in this area, you know, through private, public, whatever it is, but find a way to create something here that we can really bring some people to. And if it's soccer, if it's basketball, if it's volleyball, it's lacrosse, whatever it is. But a lot of my time, I believe, is going to be spent on evaluating those facilities and really taking a look at what we have and what we can create in Washtenaw County.
Why do you think it's important to bring a variety of sports into the area?
There's so much, you know, everybody, whenever you talk about youth sports, you always talk about soccer and that, but there's so much out there that people don't even realize. Like esports, the video gaming world is a huge sporting event now. I mean, they're selling out the Staples Centers in LA to watch these kids play video games. And all you need is a room with some power and computers.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, and people come to that. That's the generation now. So the best way to get people into town is to spread that. Don't rely on just one thing all the time, you know, the soccer, the baseballs of the world. There's so much out there that these kids are doing and that we can bring to Washtenaw County.
If you had maybe a dream event you could bring, do you have anything in mind?
You know, I haven't really thought of that. I really would love to do something like something big. I mean, 600 teams, 1,000 teams, something that we could pour some money back in the community, something that we could pour some money into some foundations, just something that would set Ann Arbor and Washtenaw County apart from all these other areas. There's a lot of cities doing this. There's a lot of communities building these facilities and doing that, and I haven't really focused on anything like that. I just want to bring something big and see what happens.
So nothing specific in the realm of sporting, but just something that you can just really see an impact.
Exactly. Exactly.
So why should people check out Destination Ann Arbor for their sporting destination?
Well, Washtenaw County has a huge history of sports. I mean, it goes back decades with the University of Michigan. Eastern Michigan started playing football in 1890. I mean, there's a history here of sporting events. The outdoor facilities are wonderful. The Huron River. I mean, there's just so much that Washtenaw County has to offer. And I also believe because it's in the Midwest, you can get people from the West, from the East Coast, and they'll come to the Midwest. They'll come here with their kids to visit Michigan's campus, Eastern Michigan's campus, while their kids are playing a soccer tournament and all that. It's just a perfect fit to bring events here because there's so much else you can do around the event and not just play soccer and leave.
Well, thank you for coming on the show, Mike.
No problem.
And I can't wait to see what the future holds once you really get acclimated to the new position.
Thank you.
For more on this and other programs, visit a2gov.org/watchctn. Thanks for watching and tune in next time to FYI.